Hello, listening squirrels. I am so sorry. I have been sorry at getting reading done. I've been leaving the Chromebook in here and letting people's channels play. That's my excuse. Okay, chapter 20 is called Come, C-O-M-E. In a small Italian town not far from Rome, a traveler stood listening to an account of a battle lately fought nearby, in which the town had suffered much, yet been forever honored in the eyes of its inhabitants by having been the headquarters of the hero of Italy. An inquiry of the travelers concerning a countryman of whom he was in search created a sensation at the little inn and elicited the story of the battle, one incident of which was still the all-absorbing topic with the excited villagers. This was the incident which one of the group related with the dramatic effects of a language composed almost as much of gestures as of words, and an audience as picturesque as could well be conceived. While the fight was raging on the distant plain, a troop of marauding croats, C-R-O-A-T-S, dashed into the town, whose defenders, although outnumbered, contested every inch of ground, while slowly driven back toward the convent, the despoiling of which was the object of the attack. The convent was both hospital and refuge, for there were gathered women and children, the sick, the wounded, and the old. To secure the safety of these rather than of the sacred relics, the Italians were bent on holding the town till the reinforcement for which they had sent could come. It was a question of time, and every moment brought nearer the destruction of the helpless garrison. Trembling behind the convent walls, a brutal massacre was in store for them if no help came, and remembering this, the red-shirted Garibaldians fought as if they were well deserved their sobriquet of scarlet demons. Help did come, not from below, but from above. Suddenly a cannon thundered royally, and down the narrow street rushed a deathful defiance, carrying disorder and dismay to the assailants, joy and wonder to the nearly exhausted defenders. Wonder, for well they knew the gun had stood silent and unmanned since the retreat of the enemy 2 days before, and this unexpected answer to their prayers seemed heaven sent. Those below looked up as they fought, those who looked down as they feared, and midway between all saw that a single man held the gun. A stalwart figure, bareheaded, stern-faced, sinewy armed, fitfully seen through the clouds of smoke and flashes of fire, working with a silent energy that seemed almost superhuman to the eyes of the superstitious souls who believed they saw and heard the convent's patron saint proclaiming their salvation with a mighty voice. This belief inspired the Italians, caused a panic among the Croats, and saved the town. A few rounds turned the scale. The pursued became the pursuers, and when the reinforcement arrived, there was little to do for it but join in the rejoicing and salute the brave cannoneer, who proved to be no saint but a stranger come to watch the battle, and thus opportunely lend his aid. Enthusiastic were the demonstrations, vivas, blessings, tears, hand-kissing, and invocation of all the saints in the calendar, till it was discovered that the unknown gentleman had a bullet in his breast and was in need of instant help. Whereupon the women, clustering around him like bees, bore him away to the wounded ward, where the inmates rose up in their beds to welcome him, and the clamorous crowd were with difficulty persuaded to relinquish him to the priest. the surgeon and the rest he needed. Nor was this all. The crowning glory of the event to these villagers was the coming of the chief at nightfall, and the village about the stranger's bed. Here the narrator glowed with pride. The women in the group began to sob, and the men took off their caps, with black eyes glittering through their tears. Excellenza, he who had fought for us like a tempest, an angel of doom, lay there beside my cousin Beppo, who was past help and is now in holy paradise. Speranza was washing the smoke and powder from him. The wound was easy. Death of my soul, may he who give it die unconfessed. See you, I am there. I watch him, the friend of Excellenza, the great still man who smiled but said no word to us. Then comes the chief, Silenzio, till I finish. He comes. They have told him. He stays at the bed. He looks down. The fine eye shines. He takes the hand. He says low, I thank you. He lays his cloak, the grey cloak we know and love so well, over the wounded breast, and so goes on. We cry out, but what does the friend behold? He lifts himself. He lays the cloak upon my Beppo. He says in that so broken way of his, Comrade, the honor is for you who gave your life for him. I give you but a single hour. Beppo saw, heard, comprehended, and thanked him with a glance, and rose up to die, crying, Viva Italia! Viva Garibaldi! The cry was called up by all the listeners in a whirlwind of enthusiastic loyalty, and the stranger joined in it, thrilled with an equal love and honor for the patriot soldier, whose name upon Italian lips means liberty. Where is he now, this friend of mine, so nearly lost, so happily found? A dozen hands pointed to the convent, a dozen brown faces lighted up, and a dozen eager voices poured out directions, messages, and benedictions in a breath, ordering his carriage to follow presently. The traveler rapidly climbed the steep road, guided by signs he could not well mistake. The convent gate stood open, and he paused for no permission to enter, for looking through it, down the green vista of an orchard path, he saw his friend and sprang to meet him. Adam! Geoffrey! Truant that you are, to desert me for 10 days and only let me find you when you have no need of me. I always need you, but I'm not always needed. I went away because the old restlessness came upon me in that dead city Rome. You were happy there, but I scented war, followed and found it by instinct, and have had enough of it. Look at my hands. He laughed as he showed them, still bruised and blackened with the hard usage they had received. Nothing else but a paler shade of color from loss of blood showed that he had passed through any suffering or danger. Brave hands, I honor them for all their grime. Tell me about it, Adam. Show me the wound. Describe the scene. I want to hear it in calm English. But Warwick was slow to do so because... I'm falling asleep, y'all. I know I didn't read much, but I'll try to do better. Y'all be sweet. Don't be ugly. See you tomorrow. Remember, 3 on Saturdays and Sundays. Love you bunches. Bye-bye.